Hello there. Uh, Welcome to another talk. Another meditation, because it is a meditation. It is a guided meditation. Talk, meditation, podcast. And today's one is called, excuse me, is called my spiritual / kundalini activation / awakening. And this started 10 years ago. I was 24, I'm 34 now, getting in my old age now. But, that's another illusion. But the awakening started at 24 when I had enough. I just sat down one day and had enough of everything. Some people have that moment and they choose to commit suicide, but I had this moment where I really had enough. And then everything changed. And then I started to go through this massive awakening. When I'm talking about this, it's like I'm going back in time. And I went through a rebirth, and many people say rebirth, but this was literally a rebirth. Many people say it, but they don't actually mean literally. Where I was taken back to the womb. I wasn't hearing voices. It was like my own thoughts, but a vibrational frequency was like being downloaded into me. From what, I can't remember how long ago, but someone on Twitter a while ago, I think it was a few years ago, said to me that's called Oversoul. And that is the middleman between you and Source, you see. And when you awaken, that's interacting with you. And I was going through, the thoughts forms that was coming in were telling me that I was being taken back to when I was in the womb, before I was actually born. The energy, I've taken drugs when I was younger. This was more intense than any drug I ever taken. That's including really powerful things. On a completely different level. Body, I couldn't. My body was shaking. And there was no drugs involved. I used to do drugs when I was a lot younger, but in this occasion, and this experience was more intense than any drug I'd ever taken. Very emotional experience. I was very sensitive, a lot more sensitive than normal. It was euphoric. And see, what had happened is I'd been taken back to, when you're in the womb, that's when you are your purest form. And basically that's the true self. It's when we get brainwashed, but body was going through all this shaking, and energies were so powerful. I lost a lot of weight in this period as well, because I wasn't hungry. Or, it's just like you wouldn't desire food. And that this experience lasted 2 weeks. And the reason it lasted for 2 weeks is because I had to then go on a path of healing, because that's the proper pathway. This energy that I experienced, and now 10 years out into the path, I'm getting those energies again. A few years into the awakening, and I can't remember exactly, but a few years into it, I had to change my diet, because I could no longer eat the kind of foods I could eat. I had to change from, eating anything to vegetarian. And I couldn't eat certain things, body would not consume it anymore. And this is what happened. But the awakening itself, you know, the kundalini awakening, it was a crazy experience. I mean, people talk of snakes, it's funny, right? When you're going through someone like that, I couldn't think, because I was trying to work out what the hell was happening. You know, snake is really symbolic. See, the people from years ago, I believe they were talking in well, I'm not the only one to say it, that they were trying to talk in symbolic terms. The snake is symbolic because when you ascend, you become like a snake, because a snake is a very still creature and you're becoming very still, right? And so you're becoming that. But in the Kundalini, in the spiritual awakening, it was a crazy. I mean, I don't know anyone. I've not spoke to anyone or saw anyone, even famous people that have had these awakenings that have had an actual rebirth. They've said rebirth, but they don't actually mean it literally. And yeah, crazy experience. You know, I didn't know anything about this kind of thing. I didn't read any books in it, or the only book I read at that time was a children's fairy tale book when I was a kid. So I didn't know anything about this thing. My mum's side are psychics and travellers and gypsies. But my mum didn't know what I was going through. You know, and it's like I'm my mum's registered caterer now, and it's like I was posting earlier. And I said earlier to her that I know that this caring thing's a part of this awakening path. You know, but you know, empathy and all that, and selflessness. But yeah, this awakening was a crazy thing. But that 2-week experience was to show me what I could have, because that is the gift that you get after a long path of purity. Now, what I'm finding over the last year is that energies have been coming back. And the reason they've been coming back is because for 10 years I've been doing healing. You know, I didn't gain... My mum's side are traveller gypsies. They can see spirits. They can talk to them. They hear them. I didn't gain any gifts like that. I didn't... You know, I don't hear spirits. I don't see spirits. The gift I got was the gift on how to heal myself. And so it was about going within myself, you know, the heart chakra, you know, that's how I awakened, because I had a moment of authenticity when I was heart-based for the first time. And, but, you know, anyone can do it. But I guess I really meant it, you know. I really meant it. And you hear stories about that. You hear stories, people might become Christians, and they had this moment where, you know, they were so low and then something happened, but it's a within thing. And because I suffer from very bad anxiety. I did go to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist's diagnosis was that he said, you don't have any mental condition. You're just a bit impulsive. I was very impulsive, and that was at my worst. I had to have alcohol or something to just make it a bit easier. And I haven't had proper depression since the age of 28. I've had stress, but not proper depression. You know, you don't want to go on, basically. But there was anxiety there. Panic attacks sometimes as well. A lot of panicky kind of emotions and things that, I mean, people would say to me, sit down, you know, and I couldn't sit down. And so it's a complete opposite, this journey of what I used to be. But back to the awakening, yeah, it was a crazy awakening. But what's happened now is that energies, I'm going to embody that energies. That's what that big awakening was about, the 2 week period of that, euphoria and like angelicness. That's how it felt. I felt like I became an angel for 2 weeks. That's how it felt. And I thought, God, I thought at the time, this is me for the rest of my life, but no, it's that. If you heal, you'll get to that. And so that is the proper pathway. People on the spiritual path who haven't had an awakening yet are trying to teach you how to awaken, or kundalini or whatever, when they themselves haven't had an awakening yet. It's ridiculous, because you've got two sides. You've got people that have had these awakenings, and you've got people that haven't, and the people that haven't don't understand. The proper sacred pathway is within, right? So that's why this path gave me those energies, and then it said, right, basically, you can get this, but you've got to go within yourself. You've got to heal these unconscious issues. And that's why the energies are now coming back. So, and I'm even this year correcting the diet even more, because you've got to correct it for the energies, or you'll be very ill. This is a very common thing. And yeah, so that's why I had those energies for 2 weeks. It was showing me what I could have. And I just wanted to share that today. For people, because people out there are very interested now in awakening, the kundalini thing, and I'm sharing this, but it doesn't. But like I say, it doesn't mean that I am better than you. It just means that I was brave enough to go within myself. I knew someone who committed suicide. And he had the same thing. He had enough, but he chose the other thing. Because in that moment, you've got two choices: go on, or do the other thing, kill yourself. And the truth is, if you kill yourself, what I learned from when I was depressed is no one cares. They don't care. This world, the way it is a disaster. And it's full of people that don't have any empathy, they don't have any love for each other, they don't, And that's why this awakening, people having these awakenings, has to happen, because someone's got to change. And the people that have had these awakenings are taking us into the new earth, and that's really what they're trying to distract us away from. The lowest intelligent people are those that, I can't say, because I want the talk to be up there, but the type, those that believe that whatever their masters tell them, they are the lowest form of intelligence. They really are stupid. And to them, it's all about attention seeking and virtue signaling, and they care more about that than anything else. But I'm not going to talk about that just now, because it's really about the awakening. That's what they want to stop. Because your DNA, when you spiritually awaken, you're accessing, it's called DNA activation. But yeah, so that's, I talk about my awakening now and again, and I like to, because it's something that I should be sharing. And it's continuing. I get new spiritual awakenings all the time. Every day I get a new spiritual awakening. It's all the time. Some awakenings are bigger than others, but anyone can do it. All I did was I chose to go within my heart chakra. I sat down one day and just had enough, so much that everything changed. So what I done was, I know what I done. I awakened my heart chakra. And then once one chakra gets ignited like that, the heart is how you access your divinity. All is within there. And I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, talks, news, research, and much, much more, please do check my website, at www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you.